What does an oncology sales rep actually do day to day? The real job is specialty pharmacy calls, checking drug stock, chasing down a denied prior authorization, and sitting in rooms having very specific clinical conversations. This is a real look at that day, the actual conversations, and everyone an oncology rep works with to make a single prescription happen. The day starts at security, not the exam room. Cancer centers require HCIR credentialing for any vendor, background checks, proof of immunization, sometimes fingerprinting, before a rep is cleared past the front desk. Hospitals treat pharmaceutical reps as visitors inside a clinical environment, with real patients nearby, and the credentialing process reflects exactly that. Once inside, a call is rarely just a doctor. It often includes the treating oncologist, an infusion nurse, and a specialty pharmacist together in the room. And the conversation is specific: how a patient tolerated a recent dose adjustment, whether a new biomarker result opens up a different treatment path, how to sequence therapy if a patient's disease has progressed, or the logistics of fitting a new infusion schedule into an already packed suite. It's a working clinical discussion grounded in that particular patient's case. Before any of that conversation even starts, there's often a quieter task: checking stock. Under buy and bill, the clinic has already purchased the drug and is holding it in its own inventory. So a rep will often check whether the office still has product on hand for that day's scheduled patients. Running out isn't just inconvenient. It can delay a patient's treatment or push them toward a different option entirely. So reps pay close attention to it. Not every oncology drug is infused in the office, either. Many are oral, dispensed through a specialty pharmacy network instead of sitting in the clinic's own inventory. So reps also build relationships with specialty pharmacy liaisons, making sure a new prescription actually gets triaged, verified, and shipped to the patient, instead of quietly stalling somewhere in the fulfillment process, unnoticed by anyone back at the clinic. There's also a meeting that shapes everything, even though a rep is never in it: the tumor board. It's a standing weekly meeting where a cancer center's specialists, medical oncology, surgery, radiation oncology, pathology, radiology, sometimes palliative care, review individual patient cases together. Someone presents the imaging, the pathology, the biomarker results. Then the room debates the treatment plan as a group, instead of one doctor deciding alone. It's considered one of the most important forums in modern cancer care, and pharmaceutical reps are never allowed in that room. So why does a rep care about a meeting they can't attend? Because that's where the actual treatment decision gets made. So the real job happens beforehand, making sure that, well before that meeting, the oncologists at that table already have the trial data, the guideline updates, and the clinical context they need. It's indirect influence built up over weeks, not a conversation that happens in the moment the decision gets made. Money is a constant undercurrent, too. Many oncology drugs are expensive, and under buy and bill, a clinic purchases the drug up front, sometimes it's 6 figures for a full course of treatment, administers it, and only gets reimbursed by insurance afterward. That upfront exposure is real financial risk for the clinic. So reimbursement questions come up constantly in these conversations, not as an afterthought, but as a central, recurring topic. When a prior authorization gets denied, or a new patient's coverage is unclear, the rep doesn't try to fix it themselves. They call or text their field reimbursement manager, often that same day, flagging the account and the specific situation. The FRM then pulls the account's payer profile, works directly with the clinic's billing staff on the appeal, and reports back. It's a fast, informal handoff that happens constantly, even though reps and FRMS report up completely different chains of command for compliance reasons. There's also a patient support portal run by the drug's manufacturer, where office staff can submit electronic prior authorizations, verify a patient's insurance benefits, and enroll them in copay assistance programs. A rep doesn't process claims on it themselves, but part of the job is making sure office staff actually know how to use it and pulling in a hub case manager the moment a patient's enrollment or authorization request gets stuck somewhere in the process. Education happens differently here too, through peer-to-peer programs. Instead of a rep presenting, the company pays a well-known specialist, a key opinion leader, an honorarium to present clinical data to a room of other oncologists at a dinner meeting, grand rounds, or an advisory board. Every dollar paid to that speaker is publicly reported under the Sunshine Act. Every slide has already passed medical, legal, and regulatory review, called MLR. The rep's job in the room is almost entirely logistics because the persuasion is designed to come from one oncologist talking to another. The sales model itself reflects all of this. Instead of one rep owning a map of individual doctor relationships, the customer is treated as the entire cancer center or health system. A cross-functional team, sales, marketing, medical, and market access, all coordinate around that one institution, its formulary committee, its contracting, its patient support needs. It's called account-based selling. The goal isn't a single prescription. It's becoming an embedded, trusted partner to the whole institution, managed more like a major enterprise client than an individual customer. There's a hard line running through every conversation, too. A sales rep can only discuss what's on the FDA-approved label. The moment a doctor asks about an off-label use or an unpublished trial, the rep stops and loops in the medical science liaison, or MSL, a scientist, often with a PharmD or PhD, not a salesperson. The MSL operates under different rules and can go wherever the science actually goes. One person sells within the label. A completely different person handles everything outside it. Above the individual rep sits the key account manager, sometimes called a strategic account director, who owns the institutional relationship itself. They think in multi-year plans, not single calls, tracking formulary status, competitive contracts, and the health system's broader priorities. If the field rep and the MSL are working one conversation at a time, the account manager is playing a longer, more strategic game with the entire cancer center. And behind all of it, back at headquarters, sits the MLR team, medical, legal, and regulatory reviewers who approve every slide, every leave behind, every claim a rep is allowed to make before it ever reaches a doctor. Almost nothing a rep says or shows in the field is improvised. It's been reviewed, approved, and locked down weeks in advance, including every peer-to-peer program deck. All of this changes who takes the job in the first place. Many oncology reps come in as former oncology nurses or with real clinical and scientific backgrounds. The science is harder, the stakes are higher, and doctors expect a rep who can genuinely keep up with a room full of specialists discussing a specific patient's case, not someone reciting a leave behind. Put a single day together, and it looks like this. Badge in through credentialing. Check stock in the infusion suite before the first call. Sit in on a working session with an oncologist, a nurse, and a pharmacist discussing a dose adjustment and a new biomarker result. Step out to text the field reimbursement manager about a prior authorization that just got denied. Check the patient support portal for an enrollment that's stalled. Call a specialty pharmacy liaison to confirm a new prescription actually shipped. Help coordinate an afternoon peer-to-peer program. Update detailed account notes in the CRM before heading to the next stop. 2 or 3 accounts, every single one deep. So what does an oncology rep actually do? They're not really a salesperson in the traditional sense. They're closer to an operator, moving between clinical conversations, financial logistics, and compliance rules, holding together a web of specialty pharmacies, reimbursement managers, medical scientists, and account teams. Also, one patient can actually get treated. That's the real job. Thanks for watching. This has been a Life Sciences AI Deep Dive.